deceive in America. Like, we put out this piece, the intro to an episode, basically right after the inauguration. And, you know, for the last 4 years, people cried. You know, a lot of times they were crying about the Democrats, and they were crying about, you know, people making fun of, or, you know, who you can joke about or whatever. And we're clowning Elon because he had that fucking autistic moment where he's, you know, throwing a fucking Nazi salute.
Yeah.
Did he mean to tell everybody he's a Nazi in that moment? Of course not, right?
He didn't mean to. I do think he meant to do what he did, though. Okay. I think it's sort of like trolling.
That's
and like,
okay.
Let's see what I can.
That's debatable. Maybe that's the case, maybe not. And then we can even have that discussion. Yeah. I don't think that was what he did, but there is a version where you could just be like, I did some dumbass shit right there, right? Yeah. Like, you can just acknowledge it. You don't have to be like, you guys are stupid. I can't believe you do that. Or find all these excuses. Well, he was technically doing a Roman salute. Or like,
that is what the Nazis were doing, though.
Yeah.
So when people are like, it's a Roman salute, the Nazis back then were like, we're doing a Roman salute. It's the same. They're not different.
Right. I guess what I'm trying to say.
Hitler was like, we all do the Roman salute. Yeah. By you going, I'm not doing the Hitler one, I'm doing the Roman one. That's like saying, you know,
my point is, like, there was all these right-wing guys like, oh, you can't make fun of anybody, and what happened to comedy? We should be making fun of whatever. And the second the jokes are about Elon, it's like, oh, dude, you used to be funny. This is fucked up shit. You just became the guy you were criticizing for the last 4 years.
You see Ben Shapiro talking about Bill Burr?
What did he say?
He said, I've been a Bill Burr fan for years. I thought he's absolutely brilliant. I went to see him in Florida. He's gone woke. Like, Bill Burr's gone woke.
This is another thing. Like, there are narratives that happen when a comedian gets to like a certain size, right? A certain level of success. Like, I haven't seen it happen with me. I've seen it happen with other people. Like, and these narratives just sprout up, and you have to be a certain level of success for the narratives to even pop up. And what's interesting about Burr is, like, Burr is one of the most prolific comedians that's ever existed. And I've seen this thing happen, like, oh, he's going woke, or oh, it's honestly, I think this is my take on it. It's like, when feminism, like the pendulum swung way too far in one direction, and you could never feel like you could make fun of women, and women were saying insane shit. These, like, with the protection of feminism, if you call them out on it, then you're a sexist and you're a bigot. So everybody was really scared. Comedians who had jokes about the absurdity of this extreme feminism gained a lot of popularity because you could get the sentiment that we all had out. I mean, I definitely benefited from that. I had plenty of jokes about that. And Bill was amazing at that, prolific at that. Now, the pendulum has swung back. We don't need to make fun of feminists all the time.
Yeah.
We realize that they're retarded. So now he's just making fun of whatever he wants to make fun of right now. But because he doesn't offer that, like, social utility for you, now he's gone woke and now he's not funny. It's bullshit.
I also think...
You never liked him. You liked that he made you feel good with your feelings.
Yes, he validated your opinions with jokes. Yeah.
You never respected the craft or the art of comedy.
Totally. And as a comic, for me, like, when I'm watching comedy, like, and when I sort of, it's not even necessarily the most I ever laugh.
Yeah.
But the most respect I ever have for a comedian is when I do not know I don't think you should ever know what a comedian's real opinion on any subject is. Like, when a comic brings a subject up, and it could be, oh, I'm going to talk about trans people now or this or whatever. When I know what your next 4 minutes of opinions are going to be.
Bored.
I'm done with it. And I do think some comics get to a certain level, and we don't have to name names. I hate slagging off comics and stuff, like, publicly and whatever, but there's certain comics who are big, like arena level comics, and they bring shit up now, and I'm like,
we know the angle.
I know exactly what you think on this, even as a comic, and it would be so much funnier if Bill Burr in his new hour is doing an hour about why women are great. That'll be the best thing he's done in 10 years. It's so funny.
As long as it's funny. I don't care if you're woke, as long as it's funny.
Yeah, I'm assuming a baseline that the comic is getting laughs and it's funny.
Exactly, and that's what I hate about the criticism, right? It's like, you can be funny and have a progressive line of thinking. Yeah. There was a guy named Jon Stewart that did it really effectively for the last fucking two decades, probably. So, yeah, it's a shame when you see these people that they seem to, like, be fighting for comedy, and everybody can get these jokes, and the second the jokes are kind of against their point of view, all of a sudden, now that person is completely changed.
Everything's funny until it's about your thing. And, like, there's certain stuff people could bring up that I would be offended by, but you've just got to, you got to just... I've said this before on another podcast years ago. This is how I view comedy. This is, like, my sort of... the way I like to think about it. It's like we're lawyers, right? We're like defense lawyers. And the bit is our client. And our job isn't to worry about whether they're guilty or not. Our job is to get them off.
Yeah, sure.
Like, our job is to convince the jury that this is an innocent thing. And it doesn't matter whether, like, I take any client on, you could say, this is what my opinion is on this.
Yeah.
I've got to win the jury over. And that's why bad comics who are like, oh, the crowd are too woke for me. It's like, no. You're a bad lawyer.
Yeah.
You couldn't get your clients on.
That's
You
good.
couldn't convince a jury of your peers that your premise was innocent.
Yeah. If you had an attorney say that, I'd be like, dude, you're going to jail because that jury's so woke. That jury sucks. Yeah.
I would have
Be
been
like, that's not good.
You said you'd save my life. Yeah, look at the fucking woke.
No, you're 100% right. Comedy should be like your emotional reaction to something.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be what you know to be right or wrong. It's how you feel in the moment. Like all the old Borscht Belt comics, take my wife, please. You don't really want someone to take your fucking wife. But there's moments where you're like, get this bitch away from me, right? And that's the sentiment of the joke. So as long as you're honoring that emotional reaction to the joke, it doesn't matter what's fucking true or not true. And these Ben Shapiro types, so I don't know why we would give a flying fuck what they think about comedy anyway. Like he literally says, facts don't care about your feelings. Comedy should not deal with facts at all. No. Like the facts guys stay out of comedy. We are liars. You know what I mean? I want the liar comics. I want the comics that, yo, I'm going to lie and it's going to be funny for the next hour. I'm like, I like you. You are interesting to me. Yeah. You know, like when Patrice O'Neill talks about Harassment Day.
Oh, it's, you
know, he's not literally saying we should sexually harass women one day out of the year, but
be funny if you did.
that's all comedy. That's all comedy has to be. It'd be funny if.
Yeah. I don't want to do this. It'd be funny if I did. Yeah,
we got the grooming gangs and we got the girls that fucking everybody. It'd be funny if we connected them. That's how the grooming gangs show up at Bonnie Blue's next thing. Problem solved. It'd be funny if. Why is that so hard for these nerds like Shapiro to understand?
Because he's a super autistic, like ones and zeros guy.
Yeah, and comedy is in between ones and zeros.
Yeah, it's twos and threes and fours and fives and like.
Now you're exciting him. You're saying no. But yes, 100%. It's between the line. It's that emotion, it's that feeling, it's everything in between.
Yeah, most people have a thing where they go, "There's nothing funny about blank." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the comics go, no, there's something funny about.
Funny to you about like this,
and that's why we do it.
Yeah,
you're not a comedian.
Yeah,
Ben Shapiro, you're the guy who says if comedians are too woke or not.
Yeah.